It's been about 2 or 3 months since I started posting content here on YouTube, and along the way I have learned different ways to optimize the way that I put the content out. And I've done this by building systems using the automation knowledge that I know and AI to streamline things like creating the title, descriptions, and even the timestamps for my videos. So in this video I want to show you how you can build a system that's going to be creating the title, the description, the timestamp of your videos only by using the link to the YouTube video that you want to post. And this can be done while the video is still unlisted and not public. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jose, and I've been posting videos on AI and automation and pretty much just documenting my journey as well as sharing with you guys the systems that I built that have helped myself grow. So let's jump right in. So this right here is the system. As you see, I pretty much have it divided into 2 separate sections. The first section is going to be the part of the automation that's going to be getting the transcript and then generating the timestamp, title, and description, as well as updating the video directly to YouTube. Before we dive into how everything is set up, I want to give you guys a quick overview on how it works. So first of all, if you don't know, any has its own on-form submission, which basically means we can get inputs from a form. In this case, our input is just going to be the YouTube URL of the video that we want to create the different components for. Then we're going to be using Apify, which is a marketplace for scrapers. This means that we're going to be using an actor on the scraper inside Apify that's going to allow us to extract the transcript of the YouTube video. This is going to include things like timing and the captions or subtitles of our video. Then we're going to be using a limit node so that we only pass one value, and I'm going to explain a little bit more on why we're using the limit here. And then we have 2 code nodes. One code, the first code node is combining the transcript. You're going to see that the way that we receive the transcript from the scraper is in a very unique format. So we need to combine everything into, say, a single paragraph, because that way we can pass that into the LLM or the AI in our further steps and they can process it correctly. We're going to be doing the same thing for timestamps. We're going to be formatting in a way that we can pass it to AI. First thing we're going to do is create the timestamps. And once we have the timestamps, we can pass that to the next agent, which is going to be responsible for creating 2 different things, the title and the description, before we pass it into this YouTube node, which basically updates the video. So I want to show you guys a quick example on what these components are. So this is my YouTube channel right here, and I'm just going to click on a random video and show you guys what I mean. So we're going to be generating the title using that system, as well as the whole description, which is going to include like a summary of what the video is about, as well as any links that we want to add. This is very customizable. You guys are going to see that you can edit it to your own needs. And then we're going to have the timestamps down here. And the timestamps are important because if you have noticed in YouTube videos, you can basically split up the video into different chapters, and that's done by putting these timestamps over here. And you see each of those timestamps have a name. Here's the introduction, the overview of the documentation system, and extracting and converting files. So all of this is going to be generated using AI only by providing the link of our video. So to test this out, I uploaded a video that's already been out and published. I'm going to be linking it up here. It's basically showing how you can just use an error workflow inside N8N. But you're going to see that whenever you upload a video, you're only going to get a title, but you're not getting any description or anything else. So this is going to be the one I'm going to be using to run this experiment. And one thing you should know is that the visibility should be unlisted if you want to be able to pull the subtitles through the scraper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this right here and I'm going to submit it. And I'm just going to let this run. And then we're going to go inside each of the nodes and see what happened. So it looks like it's done running. Now, if I go back to the video details here and I reload this, we should see a description and a title has been generated. As you see, here we get the title and the description with the timestamp. So let me click on the actual video and you're going to see that we have the timestamps as well. So let's break down what happened. So in the first node, on form submission, all I did was I submitted the video URL. So as you see over here, that's just the URL of the video. Then I used Apify to get the transcript. And let me show you how I did that. So if you've never been into Apify, Apify is a marketplace for different scrapers. They call them actors inside here, but basically an actor is just a scraper. As you see here, we can have a Google Maps scraper, Facebook post scrapers, but in this case, we're going to be using a scraper that's going to allow us to get the transcript from a YouTube video by using the URL. So let me just go here into my account, and it's going to be this one, YouTube transcript scraper, multi-language. And I'm going to be linking it down in the description just so that if you want to set this up, you're using the exact same one. And let me show you how it works. So I'm just going to grab the same URL from this video. I'm going to go back into Apify and I'm going to paste it here. And I'm just going to click save and start just to show you guys what's happening in the backend. Obviously, we're not going to be doing it here through the Apify's UI. We're going to be doing inside N8N, and I'm going to show you guys here in a minute how to do that. So it looks like we got a success. And then as part of the output, we get a transcript. If I open it, it's pretty much just all the transcript of that video. So first thing you want to do if you want to set this up is you want to connect your credential for Apify. So obviously, first of all, create an account in Apify. Next thing you want to do is go into settings, go into API and integrations, and you're going to have a personal API token. What you want to do is you want to click over here and copy, go back into N8N, created the credential and pasted it in there. You should note that they give you, I think it's $5 every month for free for you to test this out. So you're going to be able to run it without having to pay. So next thing. So first I should mention that the node that we're using is called run an actor and get datasets. So if I search up Apify, you're going to see we have it here. And we have different nodes and different actions that we can take. We're going to be using, like I said, run an actor and get dataset. This is going to be able to send a request to Apify and sort of keep it in the queue until we get the results back. And then it's going to show us a success over here. So resource actor and operation should be set automatically if you chose that one. And then as actor source, you can use recently used actors. It's going to appear here on a list. And in order for it to appear there, you can do what I just did, which is just go here and test it manually. And then we're going to be sending an input. So if we take a look here in the input tab, we're going to see that we have form and JSON. If I click on JSON, these are pretty much all the parameters that you can send when you're making a call to the actor. But really the only one we need to send is the video ID, which in this case is just the URL of the video. So technically you could just copy this, come back to N8N and paste it in here. But the only thing you would need to keep is the array called video ID. So I'm just going to delete that actually. And inside of here, you want to map what you're submitting in the form. So just grab that in there and put it inside the array. And when you run it, you're going to see that this is the result that you're going to get. So what this extract is pretty much the subtitles. And you're going to see that each sentence or snippet of what I said in the video has a start and an end. This is very important because we get a lot of useful information, not only just the transcript or the captions, but we also get the time where each thing was said, which is super important. And we're going to be using that when we're creating our timestamps. So another thing to note is that we get 2 items as an output. So first of all, the first item is just going to be all the transcript. And then our second item is just going to be this right here, which is just a bunch of information on what happened during the run. So as you see here, we can get like error counts. We're not going to be needing this information, which is why we're going to be using this limit so that we only pass the first item. So you can just search up limit, and that's an init native node. And that way you only pass that first one, which is the only one we need. Next thing we're going to be doing is combining the transcript into one single paragraph. For that, we're going to be using this code node right here. Very simple code. I generated it using Claude. And you can see that the output that I get from that code is just a combined text variable that contains everything I said in that video. The input that I'm using is the transcript. So it's this array transcript right here. Now the second node is called format timestamps. And what this is going to do is put the timestamps in a format that's easy for the AI to read. So this code is a little bit more complex. Also, I wrote it using Claude. If you've never used Claude, you can go into Claude AI and basically just talk to the LLM and ask it what you're looking for inside N8N, and it'll generate the code for you to clean up the data that's coming in from the previous node. In this case, we're also just passing in through the transcript array. And you can see that the output looks very similar, but that's because the code is set so that it basically copies over all the information. But if I scroll all the way down, you're going to see that I get this variable called transcript formatted. And this is what we need. This gives me information such as the video duration and the transcript data. And this is what I'm going to be passing to the next step, which is generating the timestamps using AI. So now we're moving into the generation section. First step is going to be generating timestamps. We're going to be using an OpenAI node called message a model. So if you search OpenAI, you're going to be choosing this one. And same thing, first thing you want to do is connect a credential. If you don't know how to connect the OpenAI credential, just go into playground.openai.com. Then you want to go into API keys, create a new secret key. You're going to give that a name. Once you click on create key, that's going to give you your API key, which is what you're going to be pasting over here when you click on new credential. You can give that a name just so you don't forget. And now we're going to be choosing the model GPT 4.1 mini. The prompting is going to go as follows. The first prompt we're going to be sending is a type system, which we're just giving a general prompt for the agent that's going to say you're an intelligent stamp generating agent. Now our second prompt is going to be type user, which is going to be our main prompt. So right here, we can quickly skim over it. This is a prompt that I also generated using Claude. So Claude's really good at generating prompts for AI steps and AI agents in the correct markdown format, which makes it way easier for the LLM to read, and it gives you better results. So quickly, the role is you are a YouTube content structuring specialist who creates clean, well-organized chapter timestamps for video descriptions. The input we're giving it will be a JSON array of transcript object. Then we have some guidelines here. Duration, each chapter should be 2 to 5 minutes long. Granularity, create broad, meaningful chapters. First chapter should always be introduction. Last chapter should be a wrap-up/conclusion. And these are things that you can change and adapt to your own use case. You just go here in the prompt and you edit it. Personally, this is how my videos are structured, so it makes sense for me to prompt it that way. And then we have some timestamp conversions as well as formatting rule and title guidelines. Then we're giving an example of what the output format should look like. So timestamps, and they should look like this. If we go back into the YouTube video and we scroll down, we're going to see that that's what's going to be pasted here in the description. And then the third prompt that we're sending is going to be type text and role user, and we're just going to be passing in the transcript. So basically I'm grabbing from here in the previous node, which was the format timestamps code node. I'm grabbing the transcript formatted variable and I'm mapping it in there. As you see, this is what it looks like. It looks much cleaner than what AP5 Scraper gave us. This is all that the AI needs to know in order to generate those timestamps. Then our output is just going to look as text. And then we're going to have a create description agent, which is going to be creating the title and the description of the whole video. And I'm quickly going to show you guys how this is set up. So first of all, with the chat model that we're using, I'm grabbing it from OpenRouter and I'm using Claude 3.7. If you don't know what OpenRouter is, OpenRouter is basically like a marketplace for different AI models. So for example, if you want to use Claude or if you want to use Perplexity or Gemini, you don't have to pay for them separately through each of their platforms. You can just come here into OpenRouter, put some credits in there, and you're able to select from any of those models. So here you see the unified interface for LLM. So all you need to do is just add in some credits, and then you can go here into keys and create an API key. And then you can click on chat model, the router, and then you can add your credential and your model. You're going to see that a lot of models are here. We have Grok, we have Gemini, we have all the Claude models, the OpenAI models, DeepSeek. And so that's the cool thing about using OpenRouter. Claude is really good at copywriting. That's why I decided to use it instead of using ChatGPT. So you want to choose from the dropdown Anthropic/Claude-3.7-Sonnet. And then going into the agent, this is the system message, which is going to be our main prompt. I'm quickly going to read over it. So role in context, you're an expert YouTube SEO content optimization specialist focused on AI, automation, and technical content. Again, you can change this to your own case. Some input variables are going to be the transcript, which is what we generated in that previous code node, and the timestamps that were just generated. Here I have some fixed links, such as my Calendly link and my LinkedIn link. And if we go here, you can see that it appears here and it appears here. Then I have some guidelines on how I want the structure to be. So first of all, I want to have my opening block, which is my contact information, then the video summary, some learning outcomes, timestamps, and hashtags. That's for the description overall. Now we have some title guidelines on how I want the title to be. Here are some formula examples, style and tonality, and how the output should be structured. So the output structure here is very important. I basically want it in JSON so that I'm able to get two separate variables. One's going to be title and description. So I provide a very brief example of how I want the output to be, two JSON objects. And now what I did is I turn on here require specific output format, and that's going to open this option right here. You want to click on that plus and click on structure output parser, and then you can provide an example of how you want your output to be that way. So basically now our output is going to be looking much cleaner. We're only going to have two variables, like I said, the title and the description. And with that, we now have everything that we need in order to put it back into the original YouTube video. For that, we're going to be using the update a video node from YouTube. So if you search up YouTube, you're going to see there's an update a video node, which is right here. And so first thing you want to do is always just connect your credentials. Connecting your Google credentials in order to access the YouTube API is a little bit complex and out of the scope of this video, for which I'm not going to go into how to do it, but I'm going to be putting a video down below on how you can do it on your own. And so now looking at the parameters, the first thing we're going to be passing is the video ID. Remember that when we submitted the form, we're only passing the whole URL rather than the ID. The ID would be this section right here, for which I have created a inline expression to only get the ID out of the main URL. And don't worry, because all of this is already going to be set up. If you download the workflow from my resources down in the description, they're all in there for free. So code nodes and prompts are all going to be inside the workflow already, and you can tweak them to your needs. Then we're going to be passing in the title. As we saw, the agent gives us an output, the title. That's what we're mapping in here. Then you can choose your region and your category. And then the description as well, we're just mapping it in. Privacy status, I like keeping it as unlisted. This is like a human in the loop thing in which I just go back and give it a double check before it fully goes public, and I manually set it public, but you can change that. And with that, this is what you should be getting, you know, a nice title and the description, everything generated. We can actually go into my execution and see how long it took. About 33 seconds. The longest step here is going to be the scraper because it has to go through the whole video and access it through API via YouTube. But 33 seconds is just so much faster than if I were to do this manually. Let's say if I go into ChatGPT and manually ask it to generate a description for my video, and I have to come back and copy and paste it. And that's why I built the system, because every time I recorded a video, it was kind of frustrating. Every single time having to go through the same process. This just streamlines it so much. So like I said, the resources are going to be down below in the description. If you want to download them and follow along, I highly encourage you to do that. If you have any questions or if there's any specific build that you want me to do, make sure to leave it in the comments. I'll respond to every single comment. If you need help, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me a DM. But yeah, if you found this video helpful overall, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting more videos like this in the future, and see you guys next time.